Well, hey guys, Long Haul Larry, and I'm out here at the ADL shop. I came out here actually about a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks ago, something like that. And I haven't been recording stuff. The main reason why is because I've just been doing Mount Crawford down to Dallas, and I really, I've done this run so many times. There's really nothing to record here, I don't think. But I've been running a black truck and doing all this, and basically the boss has me in this truck trying to keep an eye on it and everything else, because this is basically, instead of rebuilding a motor, he took a junk air motor, put it in there, and he just wants me to keep an eye on things, keep it all working and everything. And so I've been running this black truck, and I came back from Dallas to deliver in Orfield and up in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and when I pulled into the driveway, there was a lot of noise coming out of the engine area. And I pulled up behind this other truck that was parked in there, and I was sitting here listening, and I was like, is that my truck or his truck? And I couldn't figure it out. And so I shut the truck off, and when I shut the truck off, noise went away, and I was like, oh, that's not good. So I sat there for a little bit. I had popped the hood open, checked everything out. All the fluids are good. Everything was fine. I didn't see nothing going on. And the guy in front of me, he moved, and I decided to pull up to get out of the way. And I went in there to try to start the truck, and the truck would not start. It would hardly even turn over. Just real slow. It'd turn over. It just wouldn't fire. And I was like, I don't know what's going on here. And so I talked to the boss and everything else, and I thought that I spun a bearing. I thought the bearing spun on the crank. That or something in a bell house and let go or something comes in. And I just thought that something went with the motor, and I constantly was looking at it. I talked to the yard guy that was there, and we were able to hook a chain onto the truck, and I unhooked from the trailer, and he yanked me out from under the trailer, and he took the trailer and went and unloaded it. And then we ended up calling a tow truck. And I basically sat there all night long waiting for a tow truck. And the guy never showed up. The next morning, they were saying it's going to be afternoon. And they were pretty cool, and they let me stay inside there. I was kind of in a way, but they let me sit in there, which they kind of have policies against that. And I just wanted to get it out of the way. And I was talking to the boss, and I said, let me try to fire it one more time. Maybe driving it, 100 feet is not going to kill anything. And I tried to start it, and it barely turned over enough, and it popped and fired. And I got it fired, and I quick backed up, pulled out on the shoulder of the road, and I sat out there and shut it down. Tow truck came in, and the tow truck came in here, and we got it hooked up, and we brought it back here. And then he brought it back down to Frederick to the shop here, dropped it off, and the boss had to cancel a load that I was on. But then he had another load, and he's like, I can't cancel another one. So he had me jump in his dad's truck, and I drove that down to Dallas and back. Got back, and basically we've been talking the whole time, and we're thinking, gonna have to rebuild the motor, tearing it apart, see if we can find out what the problem is, see how bad it is, and see if we can rebuild it. And we have a rebuild kit and everything. That's a complete rebuild kit up there in those boxes there. That's a complete rebuild kit for this truck. And so that was kind of the plan, and it was parked outside here, and I hooked up the pickup truck to it, and I aired it up and got the brakes released, and I pulled it up in here and got it up in the shop by myself, got it all set up. And one of the things that I noticed when I was looking at it when it was here, before I started tearing it apart, is this. I'm going to show it to you. We were kind of outside in the parking lot, me and the boss and me and the other mechanic, and we're kind of looking at it. And I was like, wow, look at this air compressor. This AC compressor is like all messed up. It's stuff coming out of it and everything. And the end of it on the clutch here, this is actually loose. I can't get it right now. Oh, there it goes. See, it all moves around. It's all oblong, weird. And I was like, that thing is gone. Which, in my eyes, and everybody else was like, who cares about that? It's the motor that we're worried about. And I got the thing in here, And I was just going to start jacking it up to remove the transmission. I tore the fairings off the side of it. I was about ready to get underneath there. And I thought, is there any way that this being blown, maybe this is locked up, which it is. It's completely locked up. Is that somehow keeping the motor from turning over? There's no way. I mean, I would think that the motor would just tear that belt straight off. And this belt is brand spanking new. And I wondered about it. And so I just put a breaker bar on it, loosened up the belt tensioner, pulled the belt off, went over there, and I turned the key. Motor turned over just fine. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, it's the AC compressor. So this is the AC compressor that was in the white truck out there, and with all the parts from that truck. And I retrofitted this in. It's the wrong one. And I ended up having to put some different hoses on it and stuff. But I got it retrofitted in there and turned the key over, and she fires right up and runs fine. I couldn't believe it. A locked up AC compressor was keeping this truck from starting. I would think it would just shred the belt or tear the belt in half, but I guess the starter, is a smaller motor and it's turning over this engine. Well, if it's locked up, I guess that belt's going to hold it. But yeah, it wouldn't let this thing start. It just wouldn't let it turn over fast enough for it to fire. And then I tried to start it out in the parking lot outside just to drive it up into the shop here. And when I turned it over, it was like, when the engine was turning over. And I was like, oh, that's a spun bearing. But I got it up in here and I unhooked the AC compressor and it worked. So I rigged up the AC compressor out of the white truck, got it all in there, but something's different with it. It will not work. I charged it, got everything good, plugged it in and everything, and I fired the truck up in here with a full charge, and the AC compressor just will not turn on. And it is different. You can see the difference in it. It's one thing, it's a lot bigger. It actually is hitting the air intake over here. And you can see the difference in this one, how it's completely different. See, this mount is actually way back here, and this one is shorter. And so I talked to the boss, and he's ordered a new one. But the thing is that I tested this. This is the power wire for the AC. And if you unplug this and start the truck up, put a tester on it, there's power to it. You plug it in, this AC compressor will turn on for like 5-10 seconds, something like that, and then it shuts off. And then you test that wire, and there's no power. So this AC compressor is triggering something with the truck. So we have picked up a new AC compressor. It's all sitting right here. And I can't open it, it's backwards. But we got the right AC compressor there and a new air dryer. And so I'm going to mount that all in there and get this truck running. And in the meantime, since it's basically yesterday, I've been working on this truck. We got some clearance lights up on the top here. The screw holes are messed up. So I put some stuff in there to kind of rebuild it and everything. Got to get those put on there. And I ended up putting a new coolant tank on. Somebody cross-threaded the cap threads on it. So I put a whole new coolant tank on there. This is the bumper actually off the white truck. The bumper that was on this truck here, the black truck, was all cracked and broken and stuff. So I got that all on there. Just doing little odds and ends to the truck and getting things all fixed up. And got a new air dryer put in here, brand new air dryer. Just getting everything all taken care of, all the little problems that I've been finding and stuff. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to get working on it, get the AC compressor, and hopefully I can get this thing running.